Cardinal Raymond Burke is up next, but first, I have been getting a lot of notes and letters, and people have been asking, what would EWTN's foundress, Mother Angelica, say about this election and voting? Well, there's no need for us to guess. This is what she has said. Watch.
Okay, so should you vote? Oh, yes, you should. Doesn't matter who we vote for. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to vote for candidates. I vote for life. For life. If we don't stand for the principles of God, you will be next, because you're getting too old. You take up too much time in medicine. Yeah. The culture of death is hard, unbending.
Mother Angelica is always timely. The next presidential election is days away, and the polls seem to favor Democrat Joe Biden over President Donald Trump. Biden, the only Catholic in the race, has made a point to court Catholic voters, specifically with a campaign ad calling him, quote, a man guided by faith. But do his policies and public record bear that out? How are Catholic voters to view these two candidates when they choose a new commander-in-chief on Tuesday? Here to share his thoughts is the former head of the Vatican's highest court, one of the world's foremost canon lawyers, and the patron of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, Cardinal Raymond Burke. Your Eminence, I want to begin with the voting principles a Catholic voter should consider when casting a ballot. There's been a lot of talk from partisan Catholics, frankly, suggesting that people shouldn't be one-issue voters, so that climate change and religious freedom and immigration and abortion are all sort of equal, and you throw them all in the bin and see which balances the other out. Is that the right way to approach this election?
No, there is a hierarchy of goods, and what we have to attend to are the most fundamental goods for the number then the other goods follow from them. And number one has to be life, has to be number two has to be the family, which is where life is welcomed. Mm-hmm. And the third has to be religious freedom, in order that the home can be truly a little church, in order that people can live their faith with integrity. These are the fundamental issues. And the other things surely all have to be addressed. But if we don't get it straight with regard to human life and regard to the family and religious freedom, there's no future for our country.
Mm-hmm. In a campaign speech in Georgia on Tuesday, Joe Biden invoked Pope Francis. He had this to say.
Pope Francis asked questions that anyone who seeks to lead this great nation should be able to answer. And my answer is this: I run to unite this nation and to heal this nation. God and history have called us to this moment and to this mission. With our voices and our votes, we must free ourselves from the forces of darkness.
Cardinal Burke, your reaction and thoughts on Biden advertising his Catholicism in this way, while, as you mentioned a moment ago, defying the church on abortion and marriage. Is he the agent to deliver us from darkness, evil?
I would say not. I can't imagine that he presents himself as a devout Catholic. He has a record which is unfortunately perfect in promoting the attack on the innocent, defenseless unborn. He has said openly that he's going to force the Little Sisters of the Poor to have insurance and so forth, which provides for operations or procedures which are contrary to the natural moral law of the Catholic faith. He's also not correct on the issues with regard to marriage and the family. So this is very strange to me that the great darkness in our nation comes from the wholesale slaughter of the unborn, also the attack on the family, all this gender theory and so forth, and now the attack on religious freedom, where people are no longer, the government will tell them what they can and cannot do, even if it involves the violation of the moral law.
Cardinal Burke, would you deny Joe Biden communion, or any public figure who has this record that supporting abortion on demand, really right up until birth?
Of course. First, I would admonish them, as I've done in the past, as Bishop of La Crosse and also Archbishop of St. Louis. But then if they persist in this, then they cannot present themselves for Holy Communion, because they are in a grave moral evil, involved in a grave moral evil, which is a source of scandal to everyone. It endangers their own soul and also leads others into error, and so they should not present themselves for Holy Communion. If they do, they should be told that they're not to receive.
Your Eminence, we spoke about this a little earlier, but in that new documentary that premiered in Rome last week, Francesco, Pope Francis appears to endorse civil unions for same-sex couples. Your thoughts on this and what it represents? Is this a shift in church teaching or in the embrace of official gay unions? That's how it's being played in the media and even from some elements in the Catholic Church.
Well, I addressed with a statement which can be found on my website, cardinalburke.com, that perception, as it's worldwide, I've seen it in the press from various parts of the world, that the Church has changed its teaching, and the Church cannot be in favor of so-called civil unions of people of the same sex. First of all, the Church has always taught that the acts of genital acts between people of the same sex are intrinsically evil, and secondly, that marriage is only between one man and one woman. It's a faithful and lifelong and fruitful union, and clearly a liaison between two people of the same sex is in no way a union of that kind, because it, number one, it can't produce offspring. And then the argument is used that the people who live this way need legal protection. Well, the government protects the family, because the family is important for the future, is producing the new citizens and so forth. The family is the first cell of the unit of the life of the society. But our liaison between two people of the same sex doesn't fulfill these needs of the society at all. And therefore, there's no need to protect that legally. If there are some private rights that the individuals involved have to protect, the laws are in place as they are for everyone else.
Yeah.
So
Your Eminence, you have said that the Pope's comments should be rightly interpreted as simple private opinions of the person who made them, end quote. How is that possible when the person in question is the Pope?
Well, we have to understand what in the Middle Ages they talked about the two bodies of the Pope. There's the man, Jorge Bergoglio, and then there's the Vicar of Christ on earth. And not every thought that comes to the man, not every word that he utters is a thought or a word of the Vicar of Christ on earth. And in the past, popes spoke very infrequently, and they never practically gave their own opinions about anything. So with Pope Francis, he's very free about that. But then we have to understand these are his opinions. But how can we say that the magisterium, the official teaching of the Church, is being presented in an interview on some film? This is not serious.
Your Eminence, before I let you go, should the Vatican issue a clarification, and what position have these comments put you and your fellow cardinals in? I notice a lot of bishops coming out around the world saying, wait a minute, the Church hasn't changed anything, and I disagree with this.
Right. Well, the position we're put in is that we have to teach the faith, and that's why I made the statement. It's very painful for me to have to make a statement like that, but we have to. The truth has to be spoken, and that's the bishop's duty, certainly a cardinal's duty. What I have the greatest compassion for priests. The priests, can't tell you how many priests have been in contact with me, telling me that their faithful are all upset and confused about this, and the priests are put in a position too, which is not right. So, and I don't know why the Vatican. There are people who are interpreting this, saying, well, they've misconstrued the Pope's words and so forth. Well, then why doesn't the Holy See make a statement and say, no, we teach what we've always taught, but there's not a word.
Your Eminence, Raymond Cardinal Burke, we will stay in touch with you. We thank you for the time. And you can follow Cardinal Burke on Twitter at Cardinal R. Burke, or visit his website, cardinalburke.com. Thank you, Your Eminence.
Thank you, Raymond. God bless you.